Okay? Don't worry about it. Will become very clear to you now. And the two inseparable things are preservation and enhancement or enrichment. Can you remember two words? Preservation and enhancement. Now, when the individual ego feels endangered, is rendered insecure, provoked, it will ask a question. It will experience the need to ask a question. For example, why are you treating me like this? That's a question that arises out of the need for self-preservation. All right? So Nietzsche calls it preservation-enrichment. Preservation-enrichment. That's a phrase he uses. It is not preservation and enrichment, or enhancement is the word he uses. Preservation and enhancement, no, he doesn't use the conjunction and. He says preservation enhancement. You know why? And that's the most important thing you must understand. Because in terms of a human being, preservation can never be separated from enhancement. He says, if you only want to preserve without enhancement, that is death. You can mummify a dead body and keep it for a long time. Right? So and this is extremely important for young people to understand. Okay? There is no preservation without enhancement. In other words, you cannot stay stationary in life. You cannot just remain where you are, what you are today. You have to enhance yourself continually, like breathing. You can't take a holiday from this. You understand? And therefore, there are a large universe of questions that belong to this domain of enhancement. There are questions that pertain to the domain of preservation, self-preservation. There are also a large number of questions, and those questions are more important for us as compared to the first category, namely, questions that aim at self-enhancement. All right? Now, let me introduce the last bit. Time is running out. Why do so at all? All right? Why do so at all? Animals don't do it. No other part of the created order apparently does it. Why do we as human beings have to do it? And Nietzsche has an answer. And that answer is again with reference to a philosophical concept. Don't get intimidated or confused. If you want me to discuss it again, I can. If you want to meet me personally, we can have a conversation. He says, every individual is a being, B-E-I-N-G, with a small b. All right? And this being is in a state and must be in a state of response to the being with a capital B. Right? Now, what is the being? The being is the wholeness, the completeness of everything. So virtually Nietzsche's thought, capital B being is tantamount to God. All right? So the individual is only a very small part. I have said this to you repeatedly in my own words before, right? I didn't introduce any of these philosophical concepts. He says it is the freedom of the being, small b, to respond to the call of the being. And of course, he says that must happen through language, which is the abode of the being, so on and so forth. But let's not go into that. So there is a very serious ontological, existential, spiritual project in asking questions. This is something I could not have said to you 6 weeks ago. I've been slowly leading you up to the point where I can now make a mature statement and expect you to understand it. Fine? As I said again, these talks are available to you on YouTube. I earnestly urge you to listen to them again and again, because there are many, many nuggets you would have missed. And the whole series is available. Please make sure that even though these do not add up to your marks, you still master them. And you will only be the better off for it. Let's rise for prayer.